the fact that Jesus, there was a historical Jesus, the fact that he turned up at that time, it's the right place, the right time, and I think that's a big part of it. It's like the kind of petri dish.
Hey there again. So this conversation is quite interesting. It's with an agnostic who is quite knowledgeable about religion and faith, and so I think we strike off on a good note. It's going in a good direction. Unfortunately, I didn't get as far as I wanted to take it because some of his friends showed up. He had a lunch arranged, and so he had to leave, and I didn't want to keep him from having lunch with his friends, and so I would hope that our paths cross again. So if you're watching this, Callum, leave a comment. I'd love to meet you again and continue this conversation. It's quite interesting. I'd like to tell you more about what I believe and why I have certainty in the faith that I do. Yeah, if you watch this, just get in touch with me. And otherwise, for everyone else, yeah, have a look. As always, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. God bless. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me. I'm just open up. First question: do you have any religion? Do you have any faith?
No, not really. I don't have any faith.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of like, I would probably consider myself to be like agnostic.
Yeah.
I don't reject faith, but I just don't have any of it myself. And quite interested by religion. Like the history of Christianity. Like in the last few days, I've been listening to this audiobook about the Reformation. So like I studied history when I was younger at university, and the history of Christianity does really interest me. And, obviously like other religions as well. I'm always really interested in like cults and kind of like weird extracurricular religions. But yeah, I mean at the core of it, no, I don't have any faith. This is my friend Niles, by the way.
Sorry, hi Niles.
We're going to have lunch together. We're just having a little interview about our personal faith.
Has that changed at any point, right? Did you have a point
never.
of...
I mean, I used to think maybe I was like atheistic.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think everyone goes through that phase where, well, not everyone, obviously, but like a lot of people go through that phase where they think they're better than everyone else, so they're like 16 and like, you're a bit of an atheist, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But I got over that after a while. I mean, I think faith is cool. I think sometimes people do things that are really unpleasant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I think mostly my kind of core faith is, or lack of it, is pretty much been consistent.
Mm-hmm. So how would you say you live your life at the moment? As an agnostic, what's the sort of is there like a golden rule or philosophy? How would you sort of describe it?
I don't know really. I mean, I think that I live my life by secular moralism. I treat people well. I mean, I think that a lot of the way that the kind of Western atheists live their life is actually by the same rules of Christianity, and the teachings of Christ are pretty core to like the way people treat each other. If you're an atheist in England, it's pretty similar than as you would if you were a person of faith or Christianity anyway. So I don't know. I guess I don't know if there's some philosophies that I've picked up along the way that I probably kind of guide the way I live. But I mean, mostly it's just kind of a learned morality, I guess.
Yeah, and this is interesting, right? Because I think in the West, our morality is largely based on the sort of long history of Christian tradition. You would agree with that, right? Yeah. Because if you go to different parts of the world, they have also shared morality, but which is different. Does not necessarily have the same tradition, the same basis.
No, exactly,
same basis. Yeah.
And I think that with England, there's a kind of like the Protestant kind of individualistic. It's kind of evident in the way that in the kind of liberalism of England is so connected to that kind of Protestant ethic.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about work. The whole work ethic thing is a different thing, but like the whole kind of like, the individual relationship that you have with God, kind of bleeding into like that sense of liberalism, of, that individual rights and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not explaining myself very coherently, but like definitely feel that there's like a kind of a collective. If that makes sense, kind of rambling a bit.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've recently just sort of stumbled upon is that even the sort of in the Enlightenment and the great sort of burst of scientific advancement, arguably was done because of the kind of Protestant understanding that if you come from the assumption that God created the world, that means that we should be able to discern the rules by which He created the world.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not a fully chaotic, fully sort of undiscernible problem in
It's the
front.
Isaac Newton.
Is the Isaac
trying
Newton
to blueprint.
exactly the reason
Yeah.
he thought that there's something that we can do about capturing the equation for gravity is because he assumed it's capturable.
Yeah, no,
it is
yeah,
it is
it's
discernible,
measurable.
right? It's
You're kind of
measurable.
measuring the actions of God.
Yeah.
Which I think it's really interesting for
Yeah.
sure, like 100%.
Yeah, but so looking back, right, at the sort of, you said you've done some studying of the religions, including Christianity. Let's talk about sort of the Bible specifically. What's your sort of view of it? Would you reject it outright? Stories of Jesus, Gospels. How would you present?
I've never actually read that much of the Bible, to be honest. I know, like, I've obviously like exposed myself to like passages of it, and there's probably like occasional quotes that I could dig up that I could.
Sure.
I don't think I could ever attribute like John to, or all of that stuff. But I think that it's something I'd like to read, something I'd like to kind of have a look into for sure. I don't really think I would ever bother to read the Old Testament.
Okay.
I mean, maybe just for the value of its kind of impact on the world, but like from a kind of like maybe exploring, if I was to think, do I want to like live my life by these rules, then certainly I wouldn't. Have anything to do with the Old Testament. But I think the New Testament is really cool, and I think Jesus is really cool. I think I like him as a kind of a figure, as a faith figure. I think like I said, I'm sure that there's a lot of good things that he said in the New Testament that's worth kind of taking into your life for sure. So yeah, that would be the short answer. Is I would probably make time for the New Testament, basically.
Let me ask you one more question. I know you guys have to go sort of for a lunch, but let's just stay with that sort of concept of Jesus. Why do you think he came? So you appreciate that he's a good character. I think, almost every religion sort of claims Jesus as the lifts him up as, the Islam has a very high view of Jesus.
Yeah,
Buddhists have a
Judaism
very
as well.
high, Hindus, they all have a high view of Jesus, but ultimately, why did he come, right? Why did he come?
Well, I mean, if you look at again, like, I don't know if I can quite piece together because I've been listening to loads of audiobooks recently, but there's you have in Judea in that time, you just have like a kind of chaotic group of lots of cults and lots of people and prophets, and obviously like the Greek influence and the Jews as well, doing what they were doing. Like you have this like melting pot of different faiths and ideas all coming under this kind of like this Roman empire that was allowing these ideas to spread through their communications, through ships and roads and everything. So it's kind of like a time and place where it was very easy to kind of create these kind of religions. And so like, I mean, the fact that there was a historical Jesus, the fact that he turned up at that time, it's the right place, the right time. And I think that's a big part of it. It's like the kind of petri dish.
So it was the right time for someone like
place,
that to arise.
Yeah, and then obviously, like the ideas, the concepts that, either he or the people who kind of worked around him afterwards, the apostles, coming up with these ideas, these kind of faith structures. I think it was the right place, the right time.
Yeah. So the thing about what he said, okay, he came to die for our sins, and the miracles that he's done, the fact that he was sent from God. Would you address it?
I don't think he was. I don't believe in like the Trinity or like the divineness of Jesus. Really, if I'm honest, that's not something I believe in. But the kind of the prophet. Guy with a plan, with an idea, I think that he was there. That was the thing. So that would be my take on it.
Great stuff. Well, thanks very much, Colin.